to proclaim.
We'll be jolly, merry and gay, the sense of marching Independence Day.
This day will never be forgotten. The 6th of March 1957, when the Go-Go successfully get their independence officially. Ghana is the name.
Ghana,
we wish to proclaim.
Wait a minute. When we win, I want the victory to be for every Ghanaian, no matter which party they are in.
He endeavored continually to bring us freedom and liberty. Ghana is the name.
Ghana,
we wish to proclaim. We
will be jolly, merry and gay, the sense of marching Independence Day.
The national flag is a lovely scene with beautiful colors, red, gold, and green, with a black star in the center representing the freedom of Africa. Ghana is the name.
Ghana,
we wish to proclaim.
We'll be jolly, merry and gay, the sense of marching Independence Day.
The past 2 years or so, about 30 women, 5 women have been killed, and that's what the trace of the pulpit. The police are there. God has got some very bad police, and the sense of Samoa, the lawyer, senior lawyer. But when it comes to the Constitution, in the Constitution, we are in a position to tell it. What the Electoral Commission is doing is in accordance with the Constitution. There's nothing wrong about it at all.
Forgotten. The 6th of March 1957, when the Go-Go successfully get their independence officially. Ghana is the name.
Ghana,
we wish to proclaim. We
will be jolly, merry and gay, the sense of marching Independence Day.
From our forces, so many hundred what is that thing? Yeah, but sister, no. Wakata no more. One massacre me.
The national flag is a lovely scene with beautiful colors, red, gold, and green, with a black star in the center representing the freedom of Africa.
Let everybody get up early on Sunday and go and vote. And vote for a better Ghana. Vote for a better man. Vote for prosperity for all. And vote for equal opportunities for all. And let the people of Ghana reclaim Ghana. May God bless you all. Thank you.
Marching Independence Day.
This day will never be forgotten. The 6th of March 1957, when the Go-Go successfully get their independence officially. Ghana is the name.
Ghana,
we wish to proclaim. We
will be jolly, merry and gay, the sense of marching Independence Day.
Atami John Mama and DC double. Atami say NDC double. John Mama and DC.
Freedom and liberty.
Ghana
is the name. to proclaim we will
be jolly, merry, and gay. The sense of March Independence Day.
I am neither an Abudu nor an Andami. I am an Abu Dhabi.
With a black star in the center, representing the freedom of Africa. Ghana is the name.
Ghana,
we wish to proclaim
we'll be jolly, merry, and gay. The sense of March Independence Day.
Ghana is the name.
Ghana,
we wish to proclaim
we'll be jolly, merry, and gay. The sense of March Independence Day.
Okay.
State of March 1957, when the Go-Go successfully get their independence officially. Ghana is the name.
Ghana,
we wish to proclaim
we'll be jolly, merry, and gay. The sense of March Independence Day.
Dr. Nkrumah went on his way to make the Gold Coast what it is today. He endeavored continually to bring us freedom and
oh, Ghana,
Ghana is the name.
Ghana, we wish to proclaim we be jolly, merry, and gay. The 6th of March, Independence Day.
The national flag is a lovely scene with beautiful colors, red, gold, and green. With a black star in the center, representing the freedom of Africa. Ghana is the name.
Ghana,
we wish to proclaim
we'll be jolly, merry, and gay. The sense of March Independence Day.
Ghana is the name.
Ghana,
we wish to proclaim
we'll be jolly, merry, and gay. The sense of March Independence Day.
Ghana is the name.
Ghana,
we wish to proclaim
we'll be jolly.
Tonight, Mohamed Amin Anta, former Minister for Finance, says President John Dramani Mahama and the NDC cannot educate the NPP about debt since the inherited JM debt of 2016-2017 is greater than the debt of 2025. Amin says the NDC's incompetence is making them panic and therefore they are finding excuses. Mohamed Amin Anta joins us live in the studio tonight. Also, NDC's tourism corridor is boiling as folks disagree with JM's appointment of Kafui Danku and James Gardner. Excerpts from Joy FM Saturday afternoon program will blow your mind. And the Ghana Football Association budget is annoying everyone, and it brings back MPP stalwart Kwabena Japon's proposal for government to handle football and cut out the stealing, the corruption, and the waste. And also, who came into town illegally and ran away illegally? Why was Eric driving him? We have all the details of the car number plate and national security's complicity. Who has questions to answer? Omanebu Ama, the defense minister, or Muntaka, the interior minister? Someone brought the fugitive from justice into town and he was not made to answer any question. He has run away. Join us for all the details on this matter tonight on Good Evening Ghana. Tonight, Mohamed Amin Anta, former Minister for Finance, says President John Dramani Mahama and the NDC cannot educate the NPP about debt since the inherited JM debt of 2016-2017 is greater than the debt of 2025. Amin says the NDC's incompetence is making them panic and therefore they are finding excuses. Mohammed Amin Anta joins us live in the studio tonight. Also, NDC's tourism corridor is boiling as folks disagree with JM's appointment of Kafui Danku and James Gardner. Excerpts from Joy FM Saturday afternoon program will blow your mind. And the Ghana Football Association budget is annoying everyone, and it brings back MPP stalwart Kwabena Japon's proposal for government to handle football and cut out the stealing, the corruption, and the waste. And also, who came into town illegally and ran away illegally? Why was Eric driving him? We have all the details of the car number plate and national security's complicity. Who has questions to answer? Omanebu Ahmad, the defense minister, or Muntaka, the interior minister? Someone brought the fugitive from justice into town and he was not made to answer any question. He has run away. Join us for all the details on this matter tonight on Good Evening Ghana. Live show on Good Evening Ghana tonight in the studio. It's Ghana Month, and we do have a lot to share. Our first stop is the interview with former Minister for Finance, Amin Anta. But last week we took a break, didn't we? And on Thursday we allowed you to look at President Mahama's State of the Nation address all over again, so that you can make sense out of it. Whilst we were not on TV, I spent a bit of time with my friends in Soweto, as I always do in Johannesburg. I'd gone there to meet with some media people. We're looking at elections in Malawi, isn't it? Elections in Malawi is coming up in September, and it looks like a very feisty one. Very similar to what happened in Ghana in 2024. But whilst I was there, they always insist I post the video and send it to them. So this is me in Soweto. Okay, so I've done justice to my Soweto friends. Also, there's sad news that we have to talk about. It is with a deep sense of gratitude that I stand here to present a tribute to Alhaji Asuma Banda, who died recently at a very old age. All of us young people had many encounters with Alhaji Banda, and we are excited that he allowed us into his corridor. I have a personal experience with Alhaji, and when I was studying in London, whenever he came to town, he would call me, and I'll go to his place in St. John's Wood, his office in St. John's Wood, and Alhaji will be able to manufacture wache in those places. And we had a very interesting time. I'd been going to Alhaji and learning a lot from him. One of the things Alhaji would always say, in those days when I sit with him, I ask him that, Alhaji, are you rich? And that's always the question I ask him. He appeared on Good Evening Ghana once or twice, but I think Alhaji's best interview was one that he did with TV3 on hot issues. That was a very, very good interview, and I really enjoyed it. But sitting with Alhaji and you ask him, are you rich? And then he will laugh at you. And you ask you that, what is rich? and you ask him that, he should tell you. So Alhaji had a definition of who is rich, and Alhaji Banda told me that who is rich is this: if you can do the thing that you want to do at the time that you want to do it, then you are rich. And it stayed with me for a long time. Many times we had that encounter. He always asked me, what did I tell you about rich? I said, if you can do the thing that you want to do at the time that you want to do it. So the first time he told me, I said, Alhaji, break it down. He said, okay, so I'm Alhaji Banda, I want a Mercedes Benz. I don't have to now be calling a bank and write a check and looking for loan. That's not rich. You want a bank, you just call the bank and then you get a loan. Alhaji Banda also revolutionized our airspace. Amtrak Air, for those of us who are old, Amtrak Air was really the go-to aircraft to go into Kumasi. Those days I used to work for Asante Kotoko. Amtrak Air was such a useful, very, very useful addition to Ghana's aviation sector. Alhaji also had Maersk Line, so he was in aviation and he was on in the port. Alhaji did such an excellent job for Ghana. I call him the emeritus entrepreneur of Ghana, Alhaji Asuma Banda. May he rest in peace. We all know Alhaji Banda for many, many things, including the fact that he was very close friends with John Agyekum Kufuor. Often, when you ask Alhaji, how old are you? He'll tell you a great story. And I'm sure that today that Alhaji has passed, some of us say he's 97, some say he's 96, some say he's 95. I'm sure the family would know. But Alhaji, in describing to you how old he was, will always use a very interesting story. He will tell you that if you want to know how old he is, this is the story. He will tell you that he used to hold John Agyekum Kufuor's hand, the president, John Agyekum Kufuor. He will tell you, I used to hold John Agyekum Kufuor's hand, and he calls him Kofi. He always calls him Kofi. He will tell you, I used to hold Kofi's hand to cross the road to go to government boys' school in Asokwa. Was it Asokwa where it was? I think so. No, it wasn't Asokwa. I think it was KJT somewhere, in Kumasi. So Alhaji will say that if I'm holding his hand to cross the road, then I must have been about 9 or 8 years older than him. So if you want to know his age, take John Kufuor's age and then add 9 or 8, and Alhaji says you'll find his age, because you really could not tell how old Alhaji was. He was strong, he was agile, he was funny, he was interesting, he was a man with great humility, and Alhaji Banda did so much, so much for Ghana. In 1996, he was the one who brought the MPP and the CPP together to form what they called the Great Alliance, which never was in those days. In 96, they were defeated by Fly Lieutenant Rawlings. But Alhaji indicated that he was prepared to spend a lot of his fortunes to set up Ghana's democracy right. In the book that we wrote, we have, I think, some lines about Alhaji Banda's commitment to the Fourth Republican democracy. He's one of the people who has really, really committed his resources to this Fourth Republican democracy up to 1997, including the year 2000. In 2000, Alhaji sacrificed almost everything to make his friend Kofi president. And I remember very well the first event that President Kufuor attended, even before his inauguration, after he had won the 28 December second round. The first event was, I think, 3rd or 4th January. It was the celebrated birthday of Alhaji's wife, Baba Banda. Baba was turning 40, and Kufuor attended as president-elect. It was a very big honor for Alhaji Banda. He was very excited on that day. Alhaji Banda is also credited for bringing in Francis Poku, who became a stalwart to John Agyekum Kufuor's security apparatus until, of course, the end. There were many things Alhaji was not happy about. Tonight, I will not say that. But as we eulogize Alhaji also in Ghana Month, because he is a very, very distinguished Ghanaian, we'll be talking a lot about Alhaji Asuma Banda. May he rest in eternal peace. And he's been a great example for everyone. The emeritus entrepreneur of Ghana is how I call him. Alhaji Asuma Banda. Rest in peace.
Oh
Condolence to the family. May Alhaji Banda rest in eternal peace. Yesterday, I was very, very delighted. Very delighted. Permit me to spend 2 minutes to talk about this. On Mondays we don't come. So Monday night, I'm watching either Bernard Abler on City TV or I'm watching Joy FM's, what do they call it? Bernard Abler's Point of View. Joy FM is, I can't remember, this program is gone. PM Express, yes, PM Express. And I was delighted. I saw this young man, Blessed Soga, introducing the program. I just watched the intro. I think I got a phone call and then we were talking about politics and I didn't watch anymore. But when I was watching the intro to PM Express on Joy FM last night, my goodness, this guy is good. I was so happy. You know, I spoke here before when Dominic Ayine did this press conference that I've been very excited about the questions that came to Dominic Ayine's press conference. This guy is solid. Proper journalist. I mean, I was so happy. I was watching him and I was telling the boy around me, Charlie, look at the guy. This is what we call journalism. He was just introducing the program, but his poise, the way he presents it, the language, the style, I said, wow. I understand he's called Blessed Soga. Charlie, the guy is good. He's a solid product. Joy FM have done excellent. This is what we want. This is journalism, not Manasseh Azuri catching people. They have camera in their head. I think that as a result of the advocacy we've been doing, the I catch you is going down small. It's vanishing. Because when I saw Blessed Soga and when I heard Dominic Ayine's press conference, the kind of questions the journalists were asking him, I said it here on the show that I was so happy with it. So, Minister, how are you? Good evening. I think that people are beginning to understand that this I catch you journalists must analyze. Journalists must have the information. Journalists must have the historical basis for making a conclusion. Journalists must be able to ask ministers questions based on history, based on data. That's where we should be going. And if the media rises, the politicians will rise up to the occasion as well. But if the media doesn't rise up, the politicians will not rise up to the occasion. So those journalists who have camera everywhere following my brother, it's okay. That time has gone. Let's leave it. I mean, let's go back to the days when ministers would tremble at press conference. Because when he goes to the press conference, you have Dr. Yao Graham. He was there to ask you questions. Kwesi Pratt Jr., Ben Efson, Yaobwe Boafo. When we started that, Kofi Kumsin. If you read my book, you see some of these things. Ministers trembled to go to press conference. Some time came, then the whole thing collapsed. And every journalist I catch you and they have phone, their pen is a phone, their spectacles is their pen is a camera, spectacle is a camera. There's a camera behind their ear. They are standing in front of you with camera all over. And they want to film something and they go and say that they have caught you. And, no, that's not journalism. Journalism, you don't need to catch anybody. Just tell the minister who is presenting the budget, take the budget and look for last year's budget and see that you will find it. If there are contradictions, you will find it. Didn't we at Joy FM in 1998 say that the Bole Bamboy Road had been in budget since 96. Mr. Speaker, the Bole Bamboy Road will be done. Yeah, 96, 97, 98. We pointed it out to Kwame Pepada. Look at it. He was shocked that your Bole Bamboy Road, you've been doing it since 96. You are still doing it. That's journalism. You don't need to catch anybody. Put Blessed Soga back. I think the guy is solid. He's solid. So I'll say that for him. For him and for Joy FM, I saw PM Express last night. Solid work. Congratulations. To Joy FM. Okay, it's now time for my interview. But as I go and take the seat next to the minister, this gentleman spoke about something happening in Keta. He's very angry with President Mahama. I don't know whether his anger is justified or not, but have a listen. And after that, I'll be with Dr. Mohammed Amin Anta.
The people that voted for you are stranded outside. You are meeting the clergy. You are meeting the pastors. Look at my back. That is the sea over there. You cannot see my face. Look at my back. The sea is coming all the way to the road. Look at the road. That is the cars going. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. These are the places you should be visiting to come and know the reality going on here. It's not about meeting the clergy, meeting pastors for them to pray for you. No. These are the people who made you president, not the pastors. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. These are the people who made you president, not the pastors. Come and see what is going on here. It is only in Africa that people will queue up and go and vote for a leader, and the leader will go to church and give praise to God. It is only in Africa that people will queue up and go and vote for a leader. When the leader comes to power, the leader will be going church after church and thanking God. Was God in the ballot? Was God in the ballot queue to go and vote? Was God at the police station to go and vote? The people are stranded. Look at them.
They should disconnect the light.
I get very excited when very important people are watching the program. Good evening, Dr. Charles Reku Broby. He's correcting me that Government Boys School is in Asem, and Honorable Mohammed Amin Anta Charles Reku Broby says he's watching. I get very excited when important people are watching. Dr. Reku Broby, I have to come and visit you. I should. I know the house at, should I show people where your house is? Okay, it's near Fiesta Royal Hotel. I'll come, Dr. Broby. I'll be there. Good evening, Minister.
Good evening.
How are you?
Yeah, thank you.
Ramadan Karim.
And good evening to Dr. Broby.
Yes.
My boss.
Oh, you was at Energy?
You know, I'm an energy person as well.
Oh, yes, of course.
He's one of those who trained me in the energy policy.
They are all interested in how you speak tonight.
Honorable Hassan Ayarga is my brother. Good evening to you.
Yes, Hassan Ayarga also mentioned.
Yes, so good evening to all your viewers.
And the people in Karaga are also watching.
Yes, more importantly. Yes.
Wow. So, Ramadan is 3 days old.
Yes.
What's Ramadan for a politician? So you wake up, you don't have to eat, you be in prayer, and then you are in parliament and Mr. Speaker says this and that. And does it distract you? Do you want permission to stay out of parliament for the period?
I mean, Paul, I'm not an imam, you know, so I'm not able to speak eloquently on Ramadan. But I mean, really, as a Muslim, I know what Ramadan means, more so to a politician. Ramadan month is a month of service, you know. It's a month that you commit extra to what you normally do in your daily life, you know. It's a month of prayer, it's a month of forgiveness. And so you pray more than you normally will do. And that also means you work harder than you normally will do. And so Ramadan should not really be a barrier to a politician who is serving his nation. Either as a minister or a member of parliament, you should not use fasting as an excuse, you know, for not doing your work. Otherwise, you are shortchanging your nation, and that is not encouraged. Not to even talk about encouraging that in the month of Ramadan. Fasting, as you know, was not new to humankind. Before the revelation came to the Prophet Muhammad, enjoining Muslims to fast, the Quran acknowledged that fasting had been enjoined for people before him. You know, the Quran says, "Kutiba alaykum as-siyam, kama kutiba ala allazina min qablikum, la'allakum tattaqun." We have enjoined you to fast in the month of Ramadan, fasting as it was joined for those before you, so that you may reflect. You know, and so it's a period of reflection also. You must reflect about your country, about your community, about yourself. And reflecting means that what you have done wrong, you correct it. What you have not done perfectly, you try to perfect it. So these are the lessons Ramadan teach us. But also empathy. So you are well to do, for example, you have everything. But in the month of Ramadan, you fast just like a poor person.
As if you don't have food to eat.
Yes. And so it tells you how somebody without food feels normally. You know, not eating from morning till evening. You have that feeling. And that will increase your empathy. And then you can give more arms and you can give more support to poor people so that we can build a society that takes care of each other. So this is what I can say. But let me also add that the month of Ramadan is a blessed month for two main reasons. Number one, it is the month in which the Holy Quran was revealed.
To the Prophet?
Yes, to the Prophet. Shahru Ramadan allazi unzila fihi al-Quran. That is the month in which the Quran was revealed. And the Quran is a book of knowledge, it's a book of faith, it's a book of blessing. God, Allah himself says it. وَنَنَزِّلَ مِنَ الْقُرْآنِ مَا هُوَ شِفَاءٌ وَرَحْمَةٌ. And we have revealed the Quran to you, in which there is a healing. It's a healing and a mercy to those who believe. And so the fact that the Quran, which is the book Muslims are very proud of, and the whole world must be proud of it, was revealed for the first time in Ramadan, tells us how mighty the month of Ramadan, how Allah himself holds Ramadan. There is also a night within the month of Ramadan. Allah says, Laylatul Qadr, Khayrun min Alf Shahr. That night we call the night of power. It is the reward of worshiping that night is far more than worshiping for about 1,000 months. Yes. 1,000 months. The reward you get for worshiping, yes. That night alone, the reward, the blessing of that night alone is more than that. And Allah says that's in the Quran. So that is why we Muslims, we value Ramadan so much. And not just Ramadan, but also fasting. Fasting as a practice helps you health-wise as well. I mean, because some people will do fast breaks sometimes just to improve on their fortitude. Yes. You know. So also the character of discipline. Discipline. You could go and hide somewhere and drink water and eat, nobody will see you. But the discipline of going through the fast, yes. And if you were doing things that, you know, are considered sins, in fasting, you have
so if you are smoking during Ramadan, you don't smoke?
I mean, you cannot smoke from morning to evening. So
you might be able to overcome it.
That restricts you somehow, you know, and you don't commit sins, you don't do things that Islam abhors, you know. So generally, this is what I can say about Ramadan. I'm sure the Malams, the Imams will give
they'll be coming
a better articulation of this.
We wish you well.
Thank you.
When you were leaving office as Minister of Finance, you made an elaborate press conference and you told the nation that the economy was bouncing back. You seemed very excited about that. President Mahama last week put that all aside and said that the economy is a crime scene. If President Mahama's assertion that the economy was a crime scene, then Dr. Amin, you were a criminal. As it were. But here you were at the press conference yesterday, very fiery against the president that he was wrong. So the things you said, you didn't tell us, as President Mahama told us, that the country is in such significant debt. Who should we believe?
Well, Paul, I think it's important to put this in context. When a government leaves office, mostly the new government will want to call it all names. Because first of all, they have goodwill.
Yes, they won a
People
big election.
have just voted them. And they have to do things. And sometimes they want to do big things. Some of them unpalatable. And so I have to call the previous government, like what we say, call a dog a bad name and hang it, in order to justify whatever difficult things I will want to do. And so I understand them, because they promise to scrap taxes.
Yes.
COVID-19 levy, betting tax, e-levy, and now they are in government. They are faced with the reality, because they have to govern. And to govern means you have to find the resources. The President was talking about debt service. President Kufuor paid debts. President Mills paid debts. Nana Akufo-Addo paid debts.
You mean they paid debts they had inherited?
Yes, they inherited. So President Mahama cannot run away from it. He has to pay debts.
That he has inherited?
Yes. And therefore, they have to find the resources to do that, just as every government in Ghana has done. Now they want to do some more taxes.
They want to impose taxes on the people?
I mean, I have intelligence.
But how do you know that?
I have intelligence on what they are trying to do.
With the budget?
For example, if you ask the people in the mining industry, they will tell you that they have discussed with them about increasing the growth and sustainability levy.
What's that? Where did it go? What is the growth and stability levy? And
it goes to the treasury.
Who took it out? Are they bringing? Is this something they are bringing back?
It's still there, but it's there already. It's been there for some time now. Even when we came, we said we're going to suspend it. We continued with it. Now they want to increase the rate.
Or increase the rate of it. So what percentage was it?
Yes, up to about 3%.
They want to bring it up to 3%. So they can make more revenue.
Yes.
What's wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with that. But when you have bastardized other people who have done that, as if they didn't love the country. They didn't love the people of the country. And so when you come, you are going to scrap the taxes that they brought in. And then you intend bring in, taxes and increase the rates of existing taxes. Then that's quite problematic. Then you also know about exemptions, VAT exemptions on the financial services, non-life, insurance and other financial services, VAT exemptions on telecommunications. Talk to the people in the telecommunications.
Yeah, those exemptions were announced by Oforiatta at some point.
Yes, talk to the people in the telecommunications industry. They will tell you. We have had discussions with them about removing or eliminating the exemptions and therefore bringing the VAT back.
So VAT on telecoms?
Telecoms, yes.
So on the consumer and the supplier?
Yeah,
or what?
So,
or the consumer will now have to bear the brunt of it?
The consumer will now have to bear, because they will pass all this to consumers. You understand? And so when you want to do such difficult things, you have to call the previous government a bad government. Because I have challenged them. And no one has come to tell me so far that I lied. The president said we criminally mismanaged the economy.
Yes, he said.
He didn't provide any basis. During the State of the Nation address, he repeated it, that he inherited an economy in crisis. He did not provide any basis. I listened to the Minister for Finance at the National Economic Dialogue, even though the president had said that the minister was coming to tell the Ghanaian people the true state of the economy. I listened throughout. He did not make any basis for the conclusions, for the claims, unfounded business claims they have made. Maybe in the 2025 budget, we will hear the true state of the economy.
The point you are making, you are concerned that the president, in addressing the parliament and the nation for that matter, said that the economy had been criminally managed, but he didn't provide any basis for it.
No basis.
But is that possible?
But what is the basis?
But is that possible?
You see,
I didn't hear all the address, but is it possible for a president of the nation to say, the economy is bad, and he doesn't say, look at this sector, it's like this, look at that sector, it's like this, Mr. Speaker, look at this, this economy is bad.
But
he
Paul,
didn't say anything.
But Paul, if you want to evaluate an economy, there are various components of the economy.
Yeah, absolutely.
The real sector of the economy is one component. The external sector, your foreign relations, international trade, as we call it. This is one other sector.
Correct.
Then you have the financial sector. These are three key components of our economy.
Even the service.
Yes.
All of us can relate to service
Of course.
sector.
But if you look at the indicators, all these indicators point to the fact that the economy was strong before we left office.
Having overcome COVID.
Yes, I haven't heard of any contrary view. Because let's look at the real sector, for example. Real GDP growth at the time President Mahama left office was just 3.4%.
In 17 years.
3.4%. That's 2016.
Yes.
3.4%. By the end of the third quarter of last year, average 6.4% real GDP growth.
Oh, last year you mean 24?
24. 6.4%.
Oh, I see.
Average. Compare that with 3.4%. So if somebody would say this economy was bad, it's actually not President Mahama. Because 3.4 is his best record so far. Okay.
And the post-economic COVID that he inherited was going at 6%.
Yes, and this is an economy that was faced with COVID, that was faced with the war in Ukraine. At the time President Mahama recorded 3.4%. There was not any major external shock. What I believe they were challenged with was Doomsor. But even a domestic issue like Doomsor could make them record such a low performance compared with the crisis that we have faced, global crisis that everybody knows about. We managed to post a real GDP growth of 6.4%. We are waiting for the Ghana Statistical Service to release the end year GDP growth. I understand they will release it next week, around the 11th or 12th March.
End year 2024.
Yes, and you will see that.
We'll see that inflation was okay?
No, you will see that the real GDP growth for 2024 is much more than the target for 2024.
Okay, so you exceeded your target.
The target was, first of all, 3.1% at the time the 2024 budget was presented. Mid-year, it was revised to 4%. Yet the economy still did above 6%. That is not an economy that is bad. It's an economy that has recovered strongly from the crisis that we faced between 2020 and 2022. And we saw it coming systematically. Because in 2023, for example, we were expected to grow at 1.5%. We grew at 2.9%. Then for 2024, we were to grow at 3.1%, later revised to 4%, and we grew at 6.4%. That's an economy that has rebounded strongly. So if the president can say the economy was bad, it was in crisis, what is the basis? That is when you look at the real sector. Now we come to the external sector. The external sector, if you look at current account balance, for example, which tells us the payment positions with the rest of the world. If your economy is not good, you will be in deficit. You will be in deficit. But what did we see? At the end of 2024, we had a current account surplus of 4.2% of GDP.
Yeah, what does that mean, please?
Current account
Let's break it down.
surplus.
Current account
Yes, the
surplus.
payments we make to the rest of the world versus the payments they make
They make to us. Okay.
You know, and that's why it tells about our external payment position.
So 4.1 will mean what?
4.2% of GDP in surplus.
Okay, we had
It
a
means
surplus
that, yes.
that amounts to 4.2% of our GDP.
Yes.
Okay,
our
so
GDP,
if our GDP was...
compared with the deficit of 2% of GDP that President Mahama recorded in 2016.
Oh, I see. President Mahama left the incoming government in 2017 a deficit
Yes.
of 2.2%
Actually, 3.1%
of GDP.
Yes, of GDP.
And you have given him, for him
A
to inherit,
surplus.
a surplus of 4.2%.
Yes, a surplus of 4.2%.
But why is nobody breaking these things down? Why are we allowing politicians to tell us what they think?
I've said this. I've said before we left office, and I've said it again yesterday. The president forgot about this. He didn't mention that in his State of the Nation address. And let's also come to trade balance. Our trade relationship, our imports versus exports. When President Mahama left office, it was deficit 2%.
Our
deficit 2%. It means
imports,
that
exports.
Yes.
We were in deficit,
Yes,
2%.
we were in deficit 2%
Of GDP.
Of GDP.
Okay.
We left office in 2024 with a surplus of 5.9%
Of GDP?
Yes.
Oh, you appear to have done well.
So that is the external sector. So we've seen the real sector. We've seen the external sector. Now let's come to the financial sector. They said we mismanaged the financial sector. And to the extent that the money we spent on doing the financial sector cleanup was a waste. But the figures don't show that it was a waste. Because today, the results show that the financial sector is stronger. And I'll give you the data. All the indicators, whether you are talking about the total assets, growth in the total assets of the banking sector, financial sector, which grew at 33.8% by the time we left office.
Banking sector?
Yes.
Grew by 33%.
Yes. And
Year on year or what?
Yes, year on year.
So from 2023
Yes.
2024,
Yes.
there's a growth in banking
Yes.
sector,
Yes.
33%.
33%.
Where do you get that from? The
In
figure? Where do you get the
in
figure from?
December 2024.
Can I verify those figures?
Yes, you can verify.
From Statistical Service?
No, the Bank of Ghana has published it. A
I
summary
see.
of economic and financial data.
Oh, I see.
It's published, a public document.
So it's within the knowledge of the president
Yes.
and the Jubilee
Of
House.
course. So December 2024, it grew by 33.8% compared to December the same time in 2023. That's what we mean by year on year.
Year on year, yeah.
Okay? And then deposits. When we did the cleanup, the financial sector cleanup, we said we wanted to protect depositors' money. Today, as I'm talking to you, total deposits have grown significantly. It grew year on year at the end of December 2024 by 28.8%. That's not a financial sector.
People were saving money.
Yes.
People had money.
This is not a financial
No,
sector that is in crisis.
No, Minister, but this is when they always say that the
Total
figures
deposits.
don't really match the market.
No,
Are
but-
you sure that Ghanaians were saving money
This
up
is
to 28% of 2023
This is
in
official
2024?
data. Deposits have grown year
But
on
everybody
year
was crying that
by
there's no money in our pocket.
28.8%. There is so much money, and I'll tell you why. I'll
Tell
tell
me.
you furthermore that there is so much money. You
In
know,
our pocket.
All the noise about treasury rates are
Yes,
decreasing.
NDC have said that.
It's all
Yes.
because there is so much money.
No, say that again. The treasury
The
bill
treasury
rate that the
bill rate
government
decreasing. It's because there is so much money. The
Oh,
government
that-
is saying they are rejecting bids.
Yes,
People
yes,
who
yes.
want to buy.
That makes
they are
sense. That makes
rejecting.
sense. That
Because-
makes sense.
Because we've paid them. The bonds, the bondholders.
Oh,
were
yeah, the
paid
bondholders have been
coupons.
paid.
By
But
the
they've been
time we
paid
left
after
office.
2 years of
No,
delay.
but
We know
yeah,
that.
Of course, we understand
After
that.
2
That is
years
why
of
we
delay.
said that. Look, much as is regrettable, some of these issues had to be taken to save the economy. And you can see the figures that I'm churning out. The economy has been saved.
So we have to-
That is why the economy recovered.
We have to
And so
clap
we
for
paid.
those Ghanaians who sacrificed.
Of course, we have to. And I apologize.
Yeah, you did.
You know, some months before the election.
Yeah.
And because no government wants to hurt his people deliberately. Okay, it was for the sake of saving this economy. And the economy was saved before we left the office. And so last year alone, we paid close to 17 billion Ghana cedis in coupons to bondholders, domestic bondholders. So when President Mahama issued a statement that they were going to, he has directed the Minister of Finance to pay bondholders 6 billion Ghana cedis. It wasn't a novelty. It wasn't new.
Oh, I see.
Except
Were
that,
they obeying the timetable?
yeah, yes, they are obeying the
Timetable that you had set out?
Yes.
Okay.
And we had made 3 previous payments the year before
But you didn't talk about it.
No, he didn't.
You didn't talk about the payment
We
you
did.
made.
We always issued statements.
Ah, okay.
But this time the president issued a statement.
Himself.
From the presidency.
Yes.
As if it is new, as if he was doing something great. But Minister of Finance had always issued a statement anytime we paid the bondholder. This money are in the hands of, because we don't have bonds again. The only source of borrowing domestically now is T-bills. And so government can only take so much. That's why they are rejecting some, bids for, and I believe also that some of the non-resident investors are coming through treasury market, through domestic institutions. The IMF program doesn't allow them to invest in our T-bills. But I believe some of them are coming through domestic institutions. That is why there is so much money chasing the T-bills, and they are rejecting it. And when you reject T-bills, the demand, it shows that demand is reducing, and therefore the rate will certainly come down. That's what they have done. It's not any magic. There is not any sustainable strategy. I am happy T-bills rates are coming down because the government will borrow at a relatively lower price. But what is the strategy? What's the strategy? Secondly, they are not spending.
Yeah, but they can't spend yet.
They are not spending. They are not paying contractors, for what they have done. Don't forget that.
But they need to verify these things.
No, but don't forget that before, we left office, I went to Parliament and presented the votes on account, the budget for the first 3 months of the year. 68 billion Ghana cedis. These guys are not spending. And they have so much money coming in for them to spend. So what they are doing with the money, I'm here to ask. I want to file.
To be fair to them, shouldn't they have a budget before they spend?
Yeah,
Shouldn't they finish presenting a budget to Parliament?
No, there is a budget for the first 3 months.
Which they are operating. They are operating that.
Yes, which has been approved by Parliament. 68 billion Ghana cedis. But why are they not paying contractors?
They want to verify these things.
No. And they have gotten so much money. Look, we left a buffer of about 5 billion Ghana cedis for them. In January alone, Ghana Revenue Authority collected 8.7 billion Ghana cedis. And they have gone to borrow from TV 67 billion Ghana cedis so far. And now I'm hearing them talk about net borrowing. There's nothing like net borrowing. When people have rolled over, that is borrowing.
So
because
you mean when President Mahama said the economy was not good?
They roll over at a different interest rate.
So it's new?
It's new borrowing. So 67 billion you have borrowed in less than 2 months. And then you come and tell me I borrowed. In less than 2 months, you borrowed 67 billion Ghana cedis.
What did they borrow for if you say they are not spending?
They are supposed to spend. And so I'll be filing a question in Parliament to ask them what they did with all the money that have come, to them. So these are the challenges that we are facing. So I was talking about the external sector. Now the financial sector is what I was talking about. Even if you look at the profitability of the financial sector, it's been well established. They have returned to profitability.
The banks?
Yes, the banks.
Like which one?
For example, return on equity after tax grew at 34.2% in December 2023 and 30.8% in December 2024.
What is return on equity after tax?
Return on equity. So you have equity, if you invested your own money, and then the returns on it.
It's growing.
It's growing.
That means the banks are paying more
Yes.
for keeping your money.
The banks are getting more money for the money they are investing.
They're getting better rates for the money they're
They
investing.
also invest,
Why does that mean it's a
Banks
good
also
economy?
invest.
Maybe they're not investing in Ghana.
No, but if you go and put, of course, a lot of them are investing in Ghana.
Okay.
Because what is the size of their assets that they could go, investing elsewhere? They are investing in Ghana. And even the capital market also shows that the economy is strong.
The stock exchange?
The stock exchange,
What's
all
happening
share
there?
index
Yeah,
grew
it's going
by
up.
the end of 2024 by 56% growth.
Oh, 56.
56%.
Oh, that's a huge one.
Year
on
to
year?
date, yes. Year to date.
Oh, year to
December,
date in
year to date,
2024.
December 2024.
56%.
Yes.
Ghana Stock Exchange.
56% Ghana stock exchange.
They all share index.
Yeah, index.
So that every stock grew.
Yeah. So this is the economy we are talking about. And on top of this, you look at our reserves. The reserves, the international reserves, gross international reserves of a country shows the resilience of the country. How ready you are.
Yes, that's true.
You are to
What were the
weather,
reserves?
to weather
We always
external
hear reserves of
vulnerabilities.
2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 week.
Yes, exactly.
90 days?
Yes.
What
when
reserves
when
did
they
you
say
relieve?
4 months of import cover. It means that assuming there is a war,
We can
out
still
there,
bring our imports
you
in for the
can
next
still
4
bring
months.
it for the next 4 months. You can still bring in oil. You can still bring
4
in
months?
For 4 months.
That's comfortable.
And that amount we left for them was $8.9 billion, the largest in our history, which is 4 months of import cover. Even the IMF talks about 3 months of import cover. We surpassed the IMF target by 1 month. And this is
if
why,
your story is to be believed,
Yeah,
then the MPP was fantastic.
but Paul, I'll put out.
But why would, I
I've
mean,
made
if
this
everything you
argument-
are saying is correct,
Yes.
the finance minister, Kesela Tuforse, does not
Yeah.
agree with you. President John
But-
Dramani Mahama does not agree with you.
That is why-
NDC communicators do not agree with you. They all say that the economy is in terrible
So
shape.
what do they put out?
We are yet to see.
in the
But the
alternative-
budget is coming. Perhaps he
Yes.
will do that.
And all this I'm talking about, they are public information.
Really?
Just look at, well, I can open for you
Which one?
the Bank of Ghana report.
Ah, yeah, we'll find it there.
Yes, I can open
So
for
Dr.
you.
Johnson Esiama has inherited that Bank of Ghana report.
Ah.
And he knows that is correct?
There is nobody who has come to challenge me on this data.
This is the same data you put out at the press conference
Yes,
yesterday?
it's the same data I put
And
out.
radio have used it?
Yes.
And no one has come to say it's not
No,
correct?
nobody has challenged this data. And nobody can challenge this data. Look at all the speeches the president has made so far. Has he made any reference to any data? Has he? And is there any way of measuring the performance of an economy? It's
Except-
data.
except by
The
data, yeah.
doesn't lie.
I see.
Data doesn't lie.
So you are confident as outgone Minister for Finance that you have not committed any crime?
No.
Nobody in your department has committed any crime?
So I was surprised about such strong words being used by our president on us, because he has 4 years to govern this country, and he shouldn't forget that he will be given similar words by the government that will come after. And if he will see that to be inappropriate, how does he respond? It will be too late for him. Because really, if you want to see an economy is bad, tell us what the state of affairs are. And the only way is to give me the data, the figures. Paul, or you have any alternative thing?
No, I don't, but I'm surprised that you say that without referring to any figures. You sat in Parliament when
Yeah.
the SONA was delivered, without referring to any figures at all.
No.
Has Parliament begun the debate of the SONA?
Today,
You started today?
yes.
And when is it getting to your turn?
Today it should, I will be debating, I believe, on the last day.
On the last day, yes.
But
as
you should have
Minister.
listened to Honorable Abner and
No,
Gideon.
I'll go and listen to it tonight.
Listen to them.
Oh, they dealt with
They
it?
dealt with it. They put out the data. They challenged the majority side.
They didn't say anything?
But is it surprising to you the majority thinks we should do proportional debate?
What did they say?
For every two of them, one of us should debate.
Oh, that's what they said?
Yes.
That for every two of them speaking, one of you should speak.
Why that?
Yeah, I want to know
It's
why
never been done in parliamentary practice. Why are they insisting
But
on
because
that?
you people are too few, maybe.
But the quality is there.
The quality may be
The
there.
quality, we have the information. We have the data.
Wow.
You know, Paul. So I'm
But you
saying
see,
that.
shouldn't we get to a point where we can take a politician to task if he says something? I mean, we were doing fact checking, which was very useful and all that.
This is
Which
the
information. The Bank of Ghana.
The reference. They saw some quoting.
Ah, yes.
Bank of
Okay,
Ghana.
so the minister hands over his phone to me, and he's quoting from a document entitled "The Summary of Economic and Financial Data, January 2025." It's a document of the BOG, and this is not created by you.
No,
It's created by the statistics and the research of Bank of Ghana.
BOG is independent of the Ministry of Finance.
Yes.
Very independent of the Ministry of Finance.
So the point you really make is that most of the things President Mahama said about the economy in the SONA is not to be believed.
For me, he didn't say anything. He spoke English.
No, he said the economy is a crime scene.
That's why I said English. Because the only way you can speak economics is to say what the real GDP is.
Okay, let's look
What
at
the
let's
size
look at
of the
one
economy,
sector, a sector that
GDP
you are
is.
comfortable with because you had energy before finance, and finance is energy. Energy is finance. What is the energy situation that you left? Because the lights have been going off, and the NDC communication is saying that this is MPP's part of MPP's bad work that President Mahama has been referring to.
I mean, I said yesterday that the return of Mahama, President Mahama, brings memories of the doomsday that we endured between the end of 2011 and 2016. 4 years of doomsday. That wasn't good at all. It was
I think it was 3 years.
4 years, because the last year they didn't bring out a timetable, but that doesn't mean there was no doomsday. There was doomsday We had very serious, power challenges. We had very serious power challenges in 2016. And the public was demanding for a timetable, load shedding timetable, if you recall. They refused to do that because that was the election year.
But that also happened in 2024 when the public was demanding load shedding timetable from the government.
But the protraction is what we are talking about.
How long it lasted?
Yes, how long it lasted. And so Nana Akufo-Addo kept the lights on for most of the 8 years that he was president. If you had, interruptions, they were short-term interruptions, if you like. They were not protracted. And that's why Napo said is what? Is it Dumsiesia? Or how did he describe that? He kept the lights on. They are talking about debts that they were accumulated in the energy sector.
Yes, they've mentioned that.
The president has even spoken about 70 billion Ghana cedis of ECG debt. Where are those debts coming from? The president signed many contracts, energy contracts, which all of them had take or pay provisions.
Yes.
And take or pay means what?
If the energy is produced, you pay for it.
You pay for it.
Yeah.
Whether you take it or not. Take or pay is naturally not bad, because you find that in many contracts around the world. But when you have signed more contracts than we need, and those contracts all have take or pay, it means that for most of the time you will not be using energy from some of the contracts, but you will be paying for them.
That's correct.
And that's what we call excess capacity payments.
Okay.
You contracted more capacity than you need. And because they are take or pay, it means that some will naturally not be producing, but they will declare availability. But because you don't take it, you have to pay for it. The bulk of the debts are coming from those. Because PURC doesn't allow into the tariffs the cost of contracted power. They only allow the cost of consumed power. And so that gap between contract and consumption, who pays for it?
The government of Ghana.
The government of Ghana. That's how.
But how are we to finish paying for that
That's
in
how
8
the
years?
debt. Because you
But
have.
did you not come and use some of the capacity?
No, because you have
the capacity that
No,
you said
you-
was excess.
You
Do we still have excess
but
capacity today?
As demand increased,
Yeah, you used it.
as demand increased, and you used it, you pay for it because it then gets reflected in the tariff.
But you had been paying for it before you started
Yeah,
using
before-
it.
Yes.
You
And
had
at the
been
time
paying
we
for
left,
it before you needed it.
yeah, before we needed it, and at
Okay.
the time we left, we still had close to 1,000 and above
Megawatts.
of megawatts
Of
that were not
capacity
needed.
unused.
Yes,
Today.
that were not needed, and we're paying for it.
But is that happening today?
It's happening today.
So we are still paying for megawatts that, but why are
Yes.
there lights off when there's capacity? I don't get it.
So-
if there's 1,000 megawatts capacity,
So usually when the president says he fixed Dumso, he's talking about the capacity he has added. But capacity addition doesn't solve Dumso,
explain.
because you have to fuel the power plants, and it is money.
So those power plants that are not fueled, that have been created are not
Yes.
fueled.
Yes.
And that's what we pay for in the so-called take or pay?
Yes, because.
But if the power plant is
because-
standing there like this bottle, it's not producing any energy because it hasn't been fueled.
No,
Why
no,
are
no.
we paying for it?
Because you told them that you have responsibility to provide them with fuel. So if you don't provide them with the fuel,
They
and
have
don't
finished their
produce,
work.
yes, you have to pay.
But how do you pay when they have not produced a single megawatts of power?
That is what President Mahama negotiated.
I'm confused. I mean, how does anybody negotiate to say that this, say, generator, good. So we buy a generator and put it down. When we need it, we put fuel inside. It will give us power.
Yes.
We haven't put fuel in it, but the generator is there. And we are paying for the generator sitting there.
And the owner
Agreement.
of the owner of the generator said, "I'm ready to produce."
Yes.
That's what we mean by declaring availability.
That he says, I'm ready to produce.
Yes.
So it's your responsibility.
Your responsibility.
So you are
Because
paying for the money he used to build the generator.
Yes, the capacity. You are paying for the capacity.
He has delivered the
is
capacity.
available,
Yeah.
but you require fuel. Okay, so that capacity and fuel to generate the energy.
So when we have light off, it's a fuel matter. It's not that we don't
It's
have.
mostly fuel matter.
Why is it so difficult to get the fuel?
I will not rule out the fact that some of these plants go for maintenance sometimes.
Yeah.
But when they have to go for maintenance, the government knows sometimes 3 months ahead, and they will have to plan.
But the
For
fuel,
example-
why is it difficult to produce? We are producing
For example-
1,000 barrels of oil, 100,000 barrels of oil every day at Talo. at the other one, we are producing another 70 or something like that, and we are 30 million population, 100,000 barrels of oil every day. We can't have petrol, fuel to power our power
What
plants.
we produce is crude oil.
Yes.
Which has to be processed.
Yes.
And your thermal oil refinery really is challenged. So you have to import. You export your crude and then you import the products that you need for consumption, including the light crude oil that we bring in.
But that's where the politicians begin to get a bad name. And that's where the non-politicians are getting popular. Because the commonsensical question, Honorable Minister, is that fix the oil refinery and put the thing there. Why are you continuing to import so that somebody's in the middle, he's importing, he gets 2%, somebody's getting 1%.
Well, you don't have
the
money.
President's brother is getting this and the President's cousin is getting this. That's the conversation. There's the oil refinery. Fix it so that we can have the fuel. Why are we not able to do that?
Well, somebody will argue that the money you will use to fix the oil refinery, use it to complete Agenda 111 hospital projects and allow private sector to bring their money in because it's a commercial commodity.
That's an interesting one.
You understand? It's a commercial commodity.
Or use the money for free SHS.
Yes. And then the private sector will come in to do. But in this country, we sometimes don't understand when we say let's privatize. People will rise against privatization.
Yes. Because they want to privatize ECG. We are all rising up against it.
You know. So that is the dilemma we are faced with.
Let me move it on finally to something the Minister of Finance said yesterday at the Economic Forum. He said state-owned agencies are bankrupt, and he's worried about two of them, Agricultural Development Bank and the Electricity Company of Ghana. He hinted very strongly that he'll be looking for private sector participation in these entities. There's going to be a major backlash on the ECG private sector agenda. That's going to be a backlash. But he also said Agricultural Development Bank. Now, you have been a Minister of Finance before. This bank was fully under your control. Why is it bankrupt?
Agri Development Bank, and I'm happy is interested in the banks because they didn't show that interest when they were in government, leading to the collapse of some banks, which they are blaming us for. But if you look at the report that was prepared, the McKinsey report, which was prepared at the time, it actually showed that the financial sector was going down.
Wow.
And
but you said that has been resuscitated.
Yes, and the banks were going to collapse. So I'm happy he's interested in bank. But ADB has been a going concern. And we had to do something about that. We had to recapitalize ADB. I'm sure you...
Oh, so you recapitalized ADB in which year?
Oh, last year.
24?
Yeah, I can't remember the exact
But less than
figure.
a year after recapitalizing the bank, the finance minister says it's bankrupt.
Yes, so we have to look at the data, what he means by that. Because we recapitalized ADB, we knew that ADB deposits had increased, and so if he's saying it is bankrupt, he should show us the basis.
So as far as you are concerned, ADB should not be bankrupt?
No, it should not be bankrupt. We recapitalized ADB.
Let's hope that he speaks about that in the budget
recapitalized
so we can get better
ADB,
particulars.
We recapitalized NIB.
Oh, you did?
Yes. These are the banks that had challenges. I know that before I left office, I signed release about 400 million Ghana cedis to NIB.
As part of the recapitalization?
As part of the recapitalization. We were to release another 400 million cedis before we left office.
Wow.
But for ADB, we had capitalized them fully. In fact, we even gave them more money than they needed. Because we're capitalizing ADB as well as Ghana Commercial Bank. Ghana Commercial Bank indicated that they were okay, and so we had to pass the money which was going to Ghana Commercial Bank further to ADB. And so I don't expect ADB to be facing the problems that
But have you heard the finance minister complain about ADB and ECG?
I've heard about that, but I'm wondering what is the basis. But as far as ECG is concerned, I've already told you most of the debts by ECG are coming from the take or pay, the excess capacity payment, because the contracts are in the name of ECG. Okay. Secondly, ECG has faced challenges in terms of efficiency. Government has made some interventions over the past several years, but we are still not there. And so before we left office, I had negotiated a number of measures. I've seen the president and the minister talk about those measures as if they were introduced by them. I had negotiated with the IMF and the World Bank for certain measures to be implemented. That will strengthen ECG and bring it ECG to efficiency, the level of efficiency we wanted.
But to remain a state-owned company?
Yeah, to remain a state-owned company. But we also said that if there was need for private sector participation, there is already private sector participation in ECG.
Is there?
Yes. So let's look at where we can maximize. And we agreed that the retail end was the best place to maximize private sector participation. And so that's what we were promoting, and not to sell ECG as a company. Okay? And so some of the measures that we also started implementing to improve on the financial position of the energy sector included the strengthening of the cash waterfall mechanism. And the president talked about that, but that is not his policy. The setting up of a single collection account, that was a policy I negotiated with the World Bank and the IMF and ECG. That's not President Mohammed's policy. The audits that have been conducted on ECG, we initiated that, and we have done 2 audits. And we're to do another comprehensive audit in the first quarter of this year. The president has announced them as if they are his policy. So we must give credit where credit is due. Okay? And not to call a dog a bad name and hang it. As if when we were in government, we were just sleeping and joking. We agree that the cost of living crisis that affected Ghanaians affected the whole world. We agree. And to some extent, people were not happy because of the cost of living crisis. But you don't use that alone to reduce an economy into a crisis economy.
Without
when
basis.
The evidence shows otherwise.
Okay. Let's see what people are saying about everything that you have said. So I will let my social media editors to get ready. What are people saying about Mohamed Amin Anta's conversations? We start with Anziba.
Thank you very much, Larry Paul. Our first message is coming from Kwame Sapon. He says, Paul, as a former minister, if the economy was so strong as he claims, why were prices skyrocketing every day? Ask him why. Whenever petrol prices increased, the cost of almost every product also went up. Additionally, why couldn't they control the dollar instead of allowing the black market to dictate exchange rates? From Freeman, he says, all the brains must be deployed to take over the communications directorates to bring back the love and hope Ghanaians have lost in the NPP. From Yao Febri, says the government justification to the reduction and oversubscription of the Treasury bill is that there is too much money in savings and they want Ghanaians to invest in businesses. For me, this authenticates the confidence Ghanaians have in the past government, ability of managing the economy. From Robert, he says, intelligent discussion with intelligent presenters. Still, watching the show from Chicago, Illinois, USA. From Francis, he says, Paul, tell the minister to keep all his data very well. They should use it to analyze the economy in 2028. If possible, post the data in media for all to see. From Enoch Darko, he says, this man is teaching practical economics. Very intelligent man. I salute him. Great guy. From Daniels, he says, you people should allow the NDC party. It's their time. Abdullah says, insightful and educative submission. He says it with figures, and this is why the NDC government cannot withstand him. From Yakubu, he says, they borrowed to service debts accumulated by the previous government. Daniel says again, upon all his explanations, we still suffered as a country. Lastly, from Isaac, he says, who do we believe, NDC or NPP? Next time, invite both parties to share with us their explanations. Do you want anyone to accept the blame? Over to you, Antoinette.
Yeah, so people actually do have a lot to say about Honorable Amin's submission. Nixon Ashen has this to say. He says, from the assessment of the former finance minister, it is very obvious that both President Mahama and his finance minister, Ato Forson, are just using tag words to paint the NPP black instead of using the real economic indicators to form that basis for us to see the real situation on the ground. Now, Odeyapian says the figures actually really show that the NPP worked, but what actually went wrong? He's asking, He says, I think the arrogance of the many government appointees voted the NPP out, because a fine brain like Bawumia would go for an election and lose profusely. This must tell you that apathy too was one of the issues that made the NPP lose the 2024 December elections. Now, Yusuf says someone should actually call on Atuforsen to come and listen to what this best finance minister is saying. Alhaji Fusaini says that the only Ghanaian who knows the true state of the Ghanaian economy is Dr. Mohamed Amin Anta. Investors must solely rely on this gentleman rather than jeopardizing themselves in Mahama economic managers. Yao Febri says the government justification to all the reduction and oversubscription of the Treasury bill is that there is too much money in savings and they want Ghanaians to invest in businesses. For me, this authenticates the confidence Ghanaians have in the past government's ability of managing the economy. Now, Shigri Jonas says that the economy that was criminally managed, as the NDC claims, was able to keep our light on. The economy that was criminally managed was able to finance the free SHS policy. This Dunsok champion should give us a break. Kudos to my mentor, Dr. Amin Andam. Quite a number of people are giving compliment to Dr. Amin Andam. Lastly, Abu Bakari says the majority subset proposal in Parliament is that the debate of the SONA should be based on numbers of the size, which is to say that this has never happened since the second Parliament. It's like saying Tamasco has more students than Ganasco, and so more students from Tamasco should debate on a motion between the two schools. This is rather absurd. Now, Alhaji Bob Sidi lastly says that for 2 months of John Mahama's administration, we barely sleep with lights on for 3 days. Every time there is doom, so they will either take your light in the morning and bring it back the following morning and expect you to keep quiet. In fact, Ghanaians are suffering, but we can't see anything for now. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Aunt. Idi Tamimu says, Dr. Amin Adam is exceptionally good. You are making us very proud. It's my wish and prayer that you develop and grow many young guys that seemingly have not manifested much yet. Ilewala says, it is incumbent of every Ghanaian, more especially the NPP, to protect Dr. Amin for Ghana. He has so much to offer Ghana and we can't afford to lose him. Francis says, this minister is a very good teacher. Alhaji Rabiu says, Dr. Mohammed is an asset that we must jealously protect. His understanding of our country's economy is very amazing. He's a deep thinker. Junior Akbar, all the way from Tamale, says, excuses has just begun. Good people of Ghana, this country must prepare very well to hear more excuses from our current president. Francis Mensah says, the problem with NPP is their inability to explain issues to the Ghanaians. Instead, their ministers are good at showing a posture of arrogance. Junior Akbar comes again to say, my greetings to Dr. Mohammed, and Ghana is very proud of you. Abdullah says, Dr. Amin Adam is dissecting the issues with facts and figures, and that's what the NDC and the president are not comfortable with. Master Planner Junior says, it's clear the president and his NDC have nothing new for this country. Ghanaians should not expect anything from this country. No more money for Sith March, but there is money for all these unnecessary dialogues and committees. Now back to you, Paul.
All right, so a lot of what the minister said will be on video on demand on social media, and you can look at it, watch the video again, rewind it, and hear what he said and respond to it. Honorable Minister, how is politics, though? 2 months in opposition after 8 years in government.
Well, I think that the Ghanaian people decided that the MPP should go into opposition. And we think that that does not bring to an end our involvement in politics, our participation in politics. The role of the opposition is a very critical role for our country. And this country needs a strong opposition to continue to be a check on the government. Within the past 2 months alone, Ghanaians will attest to what is yet to come, because the government is not finding it easy. They thought that they will have everything on a silver platter. But the opposition, the mighty minority, has been able to hold them in check. Even if we have not stopped them from using their numbers to do anything in Parliament, we have engaged with the people of Ghana more and more to expose the ineffectiveness, the incompetence of this government in 2 months, and the ills of this government, terminating the jobs of people. And this is why I call President Mahama Terminator 1. You know, instead of creating jobs that they promised to create, they are terminating the jobs of people. We have witnesses to the violence, you know, across the country. You know, people are attacking people here and there. Even the NDC people, the supporters of President Mahama, are attacking state institutions and looting and burning in some cases. Staff who are professionals in these agencies are not able to stay and work because of the insecurity. You know, and you also know that the houses of people are being raided without regards to the law. Unfortunately, at the same time, some are being acquitted from criminal trials, and in some cases being rewarded with juicy jobs, such as the governor of the Bank of Ghana. You know, this is the state of the nation, and not what President Mahama delivered. You know, and let me add also that in this area of debts, the NPP borrowed money to develop the country. This is very significant. We borrowed the money, but we developed the country. Because how do you determine that the money the government borrows has been put to good use, to productive use? You do that in terms of economic activity. You do that in terms of the size of the economy. At the time we left office, President Akufo-Addo added $20 billion to the GDP? Size of to the GDP.
In 8 years?
In 8 years.
$20 billion.
US.
So you mean GDP was what in 17 when you came in?
GDP was around 64. 54.
54 when you
came in.
We
brought it to around 74.
And the 74 when you exited. 20
yes.
billion.
Yes.
That's
look at the opposite.
What's the opposite?
When President Mahama borrowed, he borrowed so much also, which he left to us. We saw a contraction in GDP by $10 billion from 2013
to 17
to 2016.
GDP went down.
Went down by 10
That means
billion.
economic activity.
Because when Professor Mills
but
left,
that you can attribute to Dumsor.
Yes, when Professor Mills left, it was 64.
And when Mahama was leaving?
It was 54.
You can attribute that to Dumsor.
Well, we can also attribute what we are saying to things that have happened which the NDC is not agreeing to.
And MPP increased.
Look at Dumsor. Look at the global crisis we all face.
Which is worse? The global crisis will have a bigger impact.
If with Dumsor, we saw a contraction in GDP by $10 billion. Now with the COVID, that affected everybody, including Ghana. With the war in Ukraine, which they are not admitting to, which affected supply chains, the global supply chains.
And therefore increasing commodity prices.
Yes, we increased GDP by 20 billion United States dollars.
Interesting.
That's the difference between us. And so I say that if this is the best record of President Mahama so far, what is the guarantee we are going to see better days? I want us to see better days.
Let me close and
take
you. Let me take you more into politics and nearer the ballot box. The NPP's defeat was outstanding. You won in Karaga comfortably, did you?
Yes, by about 6,000 votes difference.
Okay.
I've heard people say it was tight.
I heard so too.
Tight.
Prayers were being offered for you.
Yeah, it was tight.
On Saturday night.
Yes. Some even said I lost.
Everyone was hoping that at least Amin should win.
Yeah, but I won by about 6,000 votes difference.
That was significant. Congratulations.
So all those who were not wishing me well. I know you now. I know you now.
Are you going to run for president?
Me?
Yes.
It hasn't even crossed my mind.
Not yet.
I want to work and work harder for our flag bearer to become president of Ghana, so that we can show the difference in economic management. The way we have managed the economy in spite of the crisis that we have faced, that is true test of a good manager.
You are confident that the work you guys did at the Ministry of Finance, at the Bank of Ghana, in all the important sectors is sterling.
Oh, I've given you
the evidence. You have demonstrated with the figures.
I've given you the evidence. Maybe the 2025 budget will come with some figures and will interrogate. I know that they have written to MDAs that they should write to them projects that have not been paid for. They are accumulating They are compiling data on arrears, on commitment, and that is why they are saying that the economy is bad than they thought. That is what they are going to present. And we will interrogate it. We will expose them beyond all reasonable doubts. And so if they have something, they should bring it on.
It's 20 minutes on top of that. I will leave it here, Honorable Minister. Thank you so much for joining us in the studio tonight. And I would like you to say something. Get Alhaji Banda's tributes ready. We'll pass it through before you can. I say something about Alhaji Asuma Banda. He passed. We believe at the age of 98.
I'm so sorry. I mean, he was a great man. We all revered him. We respected him so much. I go to pray in the mosque that he built in the East Legon. In the airport residential area. I go to pray all the time. And our imams have taught us that there are 3 things you do when you die. The reward will continue to come to you. And one of these is building a mosque.
I see.
Or contributing to building a mosque. Alhaji Banda built a mosque. And every time people pray in that mosque, the blessings go to him. So I am very happy that he is in the hands of God. He is in the blessed hands of God. May Allah give him Jannatul Firdaus. I got associated with him during the time of the Great Alliance, when I was so young.
No, but you must have been very young.
Yes, I was young, but I was an activist. And so he had a meeting of MPP youth and CPP youth at the time, and I was in that meeting in his office, Antrak.
At the Osu,
yes,
the runabout?
Yes, Antrak. That was where we had
Badampa Circle.
Yes, so that was my first encounter with Alhaji. And you know that was the 96 election. And I was already an activist. I was a student activist, if you recall.
That's a long time.
Yeah,
of course, you were NUC's president.
Yeah, I became NUC's president in 1998.
Yes.
But by 1996, I was MPP secretary in Cape Coast University.
Yes.
So we were invited.
Former Transport Minister Ofuesiama credits you for taking him into politics. In those days in Kivas, in Casford. Those were the days.
Yeah, those were the days. But you and I, we got
we did
involved,
a lot together.
We got involved.
Can you give me a copy
point.
of the book? And then let me just hand over to the minister. Yes, we were together when we set up a program called Youth Focus.
Yes.
Under the guise of Fred Owari.
Fred Owari, yes.
Yes, who eventually was chief of staff at the office of the vice president.
It was you, myself, and Brazzi, right?
From Brazzi. Me, you, Brazzi, who was deputy chief of staff. Odate Wellington, who is a military general in Canada.
Yes.
That's where he went. Kwame Kufu as well. Lawyer Kwame Kufu was in our group. And then the group was Mahama Yariga, Idrisu Haruna. They were all part of it. Especially Mahama Yariga, who used to come frequently. I have captured all of that in this book.
It's captured.
Around the heat of the campaign.
My name is there.
It is very there.
Okay.
Around the heat of the campaign, so you didn't see it, but this is your copy. Thank you very much. It's entitled 77 Stories That Define Ghana's Fourth Republic.
Brother, thank you.
Thank you
so much. And thanks for the opportunity.
Oh, yes. We'll be doing a lot of this in this 4 years because we'll need you to clarify every now and then.
And I'm ready anytime.
Okay, viewers. We'll be back with the rest of the show. Many stories coming up as the minister takes it of us. Alhaji Banda, rest in peace.
Ghana
There's nothing worse than your multi-bet missing, but nothing better than having it saved. BetSaver. Here's Kwame and Yao. After hours of planning, both have locked in the same perfect multi-bet. Big win for United, over 1.5. And both teams to score in the London Derby. But who could have picked Leicester over City? Or a high-scoring game at the Bridge? There's nothing worse than having your perfect multi-bet missing. But there's nothing better than having it saved. BetSaver. Win, even if your bet misses.
Anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath.
I'm a fat missy way.
The patch of bantama.
My chest. It's her smile. The fresh breath.
Me, Judy said we used to Kel 360 toothpaste. Some kind. Kel 360 toothpaste.
That's Kia. Kel 360 toothpaste. It's a gum protector.
Kel 360 did the work. It's cool mint. Gives me fresh breath and your confidence booster.
You will see so feeling to Kawen in Kel 360 toothpaste.
Happy smile.
Kel 360 toothpaste, anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath. Kel, happy smile. This advert is FDA approved.
Fire pomudi ni agobi Ghana fueni agi efi say ya your local spices na ya frafra dia ya sankofa natural spice
me de go me jollof mu ne me still ahodoma e ma ne dance
Charlie, the barbecue they go on.
sweet natural sankofa natural spices and one you use 100% natural said the yepen
Adofo mamunye huge mistake sankofa natural spices the
FDA ejedi nkratu yatu. Sometimes the unexpected happens and the hero falls down in his own story. But he needs not stay down for long. Cosmopolitan Health Insurance is your trusted health partner. Whether an individual building a business, with Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, your medical care is our concern. For the best health insurance solutions for corporate institutions, groups and associations, families and individuals, choose Cosmopolitan Health Insurance from our over 700 accredited health service providers nationwide. Call us on 0302 540 668 or 0501 678 547 for all your health insurance solutions. Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, your medical care is our concern.
Look around.
Home also need a makeover.
Mine clearly does. So we went to Ashroom and found the Como collection. It had everything we're looking for and more. Matching furniture for the entire home, designed with you in mind.
Where's Como collection? Dressing up is just the breeze. Always ready with a perfect accessory.
A magic dressing mirror. One look and you're ready to face the world. Or at least the kids.
A bed perfect for young men who want
a table that turns into a treasure chest.
And finally, a sofa with this grand TV unit for family time at home.
Head over to any Ashphone store now and discover the new Como collection. Ashphone, feel it, know it.
You the answer to my prayers. You're with me everywhere. You're my angel, miracle. You're all I need tonight. Give me shelter from the rain. You breathe life in me again. You're my angel, miracle. You're all I need to know tonight.
So what about what the papa
Yeah, this is my secret.
Give us P capsules. Pema wa ho din ko from na want to me to my din one pem. Give us P capsules. Obedu asemama. Ono eneme lawyer.
Ah, enti wo lawyer no na hye obotom.
Are you bro?
Ede na pa me sini ba chia mo a ese ni die.
Busano.
No. We dey na fi waka wo. E fa ni give us cold capsules. Say yes is yare na wo so. Ko di di wo ni pedwam woni na wo posa amaman enti ma wunja wo nan yi. Wonum give us cold capsules a. Obey free.
Lawyer.
Give us cold capsules.
And I give us P capsules.
Hey, and they give us free. Obey
Chinasuma.
And meme what if you do what you do cronkwan efa. Give us core capsules. A painful a batter one more menu for an inquada when if you do me nunca.
Attention all farmers. Are you ready to take your crops to the next level? Introducing 3 effective organic composts that will revolutionize your farming practices. ACAP, KCAP and Iricop brings to you the ultimate solution for your fertilizer needs. Introducing the ACAP Grade A, KCAP Equiafua Jinkwa, and the Iricop with cocoa blends, palm blend and mulch. These are made from locally sourced municipal solid waste, and these are the perfect choice for sustainable farming. Join the organic revolution today. Boost your crop yield, improve soil health, and support sustainable farming practices. Choose ACAP, KCAP, and Iricop organic compost for a greener and bountiful harvest. For your purchase and more information, call the numbers on your screen. Our products are endorsed by COCOBOD, Planting for Food and Jobs, and the Ministry of Food and Agriculture.
There's nothing worse than your multi-bet missing, but nothing better than having it saved. BetSaver.
Tonight, Mohammed Amin Anta, former Minister for Finance, says President John Dramani Mahama and the NDC cannot educate the NPP about debt since the inherited JM debt of 2016-2017 is greater than the debt of 2025. Amin says the NDC's incompetence is making them panic and therefore they are finding excuses. Mohammed Amin Anta joins us live in the studio tonight. Also, NDC's tourism corridor is boiling as folks disagree with JM's appointment of Kafui Danku and James Gardner. Excerpts from Joy FM Saturday afternoon program will blow your mind. And the Ghana Football Association budget is annoying everyone, and it brings back MPP stalwart Kwabena Japon's proposal for government to handle football and cut out the stealing, the corruption, and the waste. And also, who came into town illegally and ran away illegally? Why was Eric driving him? We have all the details of the car number plate and national security's complicity. Who has questions to answer? Omanebu Ahmad, the defense minister, or Muntaka, the interior minister? Someone brought the fugitive from justice into town and he was not made to answer any question. He has run away. Join us for all the details on this matter tonight on Good Evening Ghana.
Politics. Politics, and that ben yedi Mahama Siso, and that ben yedi Mahama Siso, yedi a Trump Siso, Nadia Chia Trump Shaz so ye Juma. 3 days in ye, 3 days nipper the eating, Ade. Yes, 2 near my go free na say, Ade. Okokan, na me adeba kwa me then say, Doom so your friend is saying, Doom so ya bay, and can people phone kwa, that can't MPP in this thing na. Ah, 3 days in ye. Madame Kushini, me fa me baga, ma koda o efie, say me frewa hello, o light, o ka se da bia na makate no, o ka se ania, ene me koda obojo, adecha, aden, you still need no man in na go fridge say. Aden.
All right, apologies to our viewers on DSTV. We had been off and we contacted DSTV. They said that there was a technical problem for the local station. So we were off, TV3 off. TV3 is back on, we are back on. Hello, can you see me on DSTV? Thank you very much for your time. It's always a pleasure. Whose car is this? GE166017. This is the car that was used to convey the fugitive criminal from justice. More on the story coming in the next edition of Good Evening Ghana, because we're going to obtain the court document. Every single court document about this fugitive from justice that national security brought into this country, we're going to deal with it. And we are filing an urgent question on RTI for the Minister for Defense and the Minister for Interior. And we are asking a member of parliament to file an urgent question for both ministers. Same question. They will answer it RTI, they will answer it in parliament. And a lot is going to happen. Now that the budget will be read in 10 days' time, after the budget is gone, the SONA is gone, we are going to move into Shraj. Those who are renting from Airport Hills will have to come to Shraj to answer those questions. We are doing a lot of work in the interest of democracy, isn't it? Whose car is this? Next time we appear on Good Evening Ghana, we'll give you all the details. We're getting the court documents to show that this country is not a banana republic, it is a democracy. It votes every 7 December, every 4 years. It's been doing that since 1992. It has 290-something articles of a constitution. There are several acts of parliament. This is a proper democracy. Fugitive from justice cannot come in through national security, through ministers of state. Ministers appointed by an elected president go to vetting and bring in a fugitive from justice from behind. Ministers of state, defense minister, Omani Boama. This is the work you are coming to do. Omani Boama, defense minister, nice Catholic priest. This is what you are. You use state vehicle. Somebody will pay for this. You're going to use state vehicle to convey people that way. We want to build the case with the court order. And so wait for it. Inviting in now Andy Terry, who is our sportsman, who is going to tell us what is going on at the Football Association. Everyone seems very, very angry. Everyone is angry. What's happening?
Yes, sir. So let's touch on Mr. Simon Okweku first, and then the budgets that came out for the 2022 World Cup. And it's making fans go.
What's the budget size?
For appearance fee alone was $5.1 million, but the whole total amount was $14.1 million.
Who's appearance fee for whom?
For the 26 players and then the 28 officials that followed them. So
the officials are more.
Yes.
The appearance fees each gets $100,000. So once we qualify for the World Cup, the taxpayer is going to pay them $100,000. We have to be careful when we're talking about taxpayers' money, because they say airport money is not taxpayers' money, VRA money is not taxpayers' money, ECG money is not, I don't know what taxpayers' money is. Anyway, so taxpayers' money is going to be used to pay 26 players and 28 officials. We're going to give them $100,000. So if I'm an official, say, Black Stars Management Committee, I'm a member, if the Black Stars qualify for the World Cup, because of the work that I did, which will be going for meetings and traveling with the team and all that, encourages some of the players, I get $100,000. That is 15 million Ghana cedis. Whoa! Hey. Hallelujah.
And then when people got to know about the whole total amount, it was 14.1. And then the group stage prize money that FIFA gave to us was just 9 million. When we qualified for the round of 16, it's 13 million. Quarterfinals was 17 million. So just see the amount of money we just spent.
So are we borrowing from the taxpayers' money so we pay back?
Yes.
So when FIFA gives us the money, do we pay back the Ministry of Finance?
Yes. That's the plan we normally do. So the 9 million that we received, that was the... So
the real controversy then is the 5 million, the appearance fee. Yes. So Kesokweku gets 100,000.
Yes.
What's happening, my people? Okay. All right. The mic is being worked on. So, Mr. Man, are you done with the microphone? Okay. Can they hear him when he talks? You have to wait. You have to wait and get this before they... So should he start all over again? Okay. Sorry, viewers. We're doing some small things behind the scenes. So, you can see. But sorry, we're doing one or two things behind the scenes. We're just sorting it out right now. His microphone. But it's an interesting story, isn't it? Yes. Okay. Let's go. Can you get the screen working again? Okay. I shouldn't have done yes. Sorry.
Okay. So moving on, let's move to that is ticketing. That is airplane ticketing. Another issue that came up with airplane ticketing was every player was enlisted for $7,000 for enplaning from wherever they were coming from. So at that time, Kudus was playing for Ajax in Netherlands, who be service that was 7,000 Ghana cedis.
Ghana cedis,
$7,000.
Yeah, okay.
Efiye Banye was also in Ghana at that time playing for Accra to Folk. He was also emplaned for $7,000. And then Idede Ayew at that time was playing for Al Sadd in Qatar, in that same Qatar. And he also took 7,000 Ghana cedis for that employing. So
you mean each player takes $7,000
yes,
for
yes,
arriving.
Yes.
I think that's fair.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
for the players.
People are saying, look at that's a free Bani. He was coming from Hartlepool from Ghana. 7,000 made sense. That was Kudus, Netherlands, made sense. But the Ayew at that time was playing for Al Sadd in Qatar, the country where we were playing the tournament. So he shouldn't have,
I think people are concerned about those they think do not deserve to take the money.
Let's go to that place. That's
officials.
Yes,
but why are they
officials.
more than the players?
Quite shocking.
Okay, so the coaching staff will be about 10.
Yes. So the coaching staff is 22. 22. Breaking down, and also the Black Stars committee members are just 6. Black Stars committee members. Let's look at them. The Black Stars committee members. So this is just the budget. The 14.1 million. This is the pre-tournament campaign. That was
$14 million.
Yes. $14.1 million.
This is a budget submitted by GFA to the ministry.
Yes, to the ministry.
So the ministry is going to submit it to Parliament.
Yes, that was 2022. So everything was done in 2022 before the World Cup.
Before which World Cup?
The 2022 World Cup.
So these things we're talking about has already been spent.
Yes, 2022
it's been spent.
Yes.
I thought
but the budget never came. The budget never came out.
Oh, it's now that the budget is
now, yes.
Now that we are finding out how much money we spent on the Qatar World Cup.
Yes.
Okay, so the new World Cup, do we know how much we're going to spend?
That's what Mahama said. Now the budgets will be transparent to the populace.
So we will know the budget before it is
we didn't know. So for 3 years.
So Parliament approved this.
Yes.
Without telling us.
Yes. So for 3 years, this is the expose now. 14.1 million. That's what I was talking about. If you're in the quarterfinals, you get 17 million. So you can see the disparity.
But we ended up in the group stage.
Yes,
did we get any money from FIFA?
9 million. Yeah, 9 million.
So does the 9 million return to chest at Bank of Ghana, or you don't know?
I think it goes to the FA that
for
9
development.
million. Yeah, for development.
Okay, so now let's come to the buses. So this is some of the money that you used to buy the buses. What happened in the scandal? I had a Joy FM today.
So with the bus, Mr. Michael Osekre, that is the chief of staff for the GFA, and also Keto Kreku. He owned a company that's Phregistis Logistics, and they bought in the buses on 9th July. That is 2024, and then the buses came for operation with to the clubs. That was around, I think, 19th November. We played our game against Niger on 18th November. So right after that game, the next day, that was when Mr. Kett commissioned the buses, and then we get to see that it's the chief of staff who owns that company that we bought the buses from initially, or normally.
So he bought the buses and sold to GFA, or he was an agent, or what happened?
Yes. So normally it should be an independent body, an independent agent, an independent company that we should contact them. GFA should contact them and buy the buses from. But he works with the GFA. He's the chief of staff, and he owns the company that we bought the buses from. So initially, or just like that, it's kind of like an in-party thing, and sole sourcing, more of that. So that's what it brought about the whole, brouhaha. Like, why is it that Mr. Michael Osekre is the one owning this company? Why shouldn't it be a different independent?
Who is Michael Osekre, by the way?
He's the chief of staff of the GFA.
Is there a position called chief of staff at the GFA?
Mr. Keto Kreku created this.
Chief of staff. Of what staff? The general secretary and the people in the FA office. He's the chief of staff there.
Yes.
So he's salaried by the GFA money.
Yes, please.
And he was responsible for importing buses for the Black Stars. Did he go through the proper procurement process?
Oh yeah, he went through the proper procurement processes. And also, even the buses, what issue that came again with the money was during the World Cup, Keto Kreku's, not Keto Kreku, that's the coach, that's Otuado. His PA was earning $20,000. $20,000
per what?
So per appearance. So the 3 games. So $20,000
each for each of the game.
Yes.
So $60,000.
Yes. So
are you serious about that?
$20,000.
So is it $20,000 per game or the whole thing? You have to be clear.
Yes. So $20,000 per the appearance. So we stayed there for 3 games.
Per appearance means per game.
Yes. That's
so
how they do
another game is $40,000.
Yes.
Another 20.
Yes.
Another 20. Yes. So you mean $60,000 for the 3 first round group games?
Yes.
So I don't believe that.
So and also $10,000 for the purse holder. The purse holder was taken from the Ministry of Finance. Yes, so that one he was taking $10,000. The caterers were taking $5,000 each. There were 2 caterers. There's a national security.
You see, per what?
So per the appearance. That's the
1 game or 3 games.
So one game. So we stayed there for three days.
So 5,000 times 3, 15,000.
Yeah. So they do it per appearance. So when we say the 100,000 that they got is for the whole tournament.
Okay.
So that one is different. But with this is per appearance. So if we went,
is that what Alhaji Gusa said? GFA said he should bring back 50, and he said he would.
That's for his 100,000.
Yes.
His $100,000.
Yes.
So that one he was told, as being a member of the committee, that's the Black Stars committee, to bring 50,000
back to 50%.
To the GFA.
For what?
I really don't know. That's his beef with. He had that beef with the GFA when we came back from the World Cup. Right after we came back.
That he would not return 50,000.
He will not return it. They spoke to him. He says he will never return it.
Did the others return it?
I think so, maybe.
To who?
We don't know. And they don't want to be very, very upfront with us. That's why it's been 3 years since this budget is now coming out. And it's a big expose. 14.1 million.
Let's keep the story running. And anyway, maybe we'll take a last round of text messages and we call it a day. And then Independence Day is 2 days' time. Ghana's independence is coming up again. We all remember the glorious declaration of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah on the eve of independence at the Polo Ground when he had just left the last session of Parliament, of that Parliament, whose life ended on midnight. And the new Independence Parliament's life began on the morning of the 6th of March at the first Parliament House. You can go there with your family on Independence Day. The Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum is directly opposite the first Parliament where the Commission for Human Rights meet. You can go there and show your children the history of Ghana. Several years ago, 69 I think it is, or 67. 67 years ago, Ghana became independent. You can take your children to the Polo Ground where Nkrumah stood and made a declaration that at long last, the battle has ended in Ghana, our beloved country. And let me throw a challenge to the Ministry of Tourism. I was going to do a tourism story, but in the spirit of independence, I'll postpone it. I need to talk about Abeku Santana and others. I'll postpone it and do that in the spirit of independence. Let's postpone it. But Ghana Tourism Authority, you may have to help us. And it's always been, I used to argue it out with Marco Krekumanti. Let's get the spot where Nkrumah was standing. We know generally where it could be, but let's really get the spot where the days was constructed, where Nkrumah stood there and said that at long last the battle has ended independence. When we were children, teenagers, we're not sure teenagers, we used to go to Baden Powell Hall for events. And then we'll walk around there and trying to imagine where the spot could be. Because when you watch television, you can see that it's around this area. It goes to where the Trotros Park, but really to the other side, sort of directly opposite the court. We need to get the spot. This is where Nkrumah stood. And then we can make some tourism out of it because Nkrumah's Mausoleum is not far from there. So take your children there. The spot is not ready, but you can show them. It used to be a polo ground. It used to be called Accra Polo Ground. And after that, they moved the polo ground to where it currently is at the airport residential area near the Kotoka International Airport. But Thursday is a great day for Ghana when Ghana became independent, political independent from British. Since then, we have been looking for financial independence. Hopefully, we will get it very, very soon. Let's take text messages. Shall I start from Anziba? Okay, Fatih first.
All right, thank you. So this coming from Yao Fabian. Yao says, after all this mismanagement and misappropriation from the GFA, we Ghanaians are not seeing proper improvement of our local league and the Black Stars. Eric Duke says it's not per appearance, it's an appearance fee for being at the World Cup. And lastly, coming from Odeya Pia, he says, imagine going for a World Cup where officials are more than playing buddy. This is very sickening. What are your persons?
Yeah, so people are still talking about the submission made by Dr. Mohamed Enim. Yao Febri says that the state of the nation currently under this government is a state of capture by the NDC for soldiers, dismissal of public and civil servants in our state institutions, Doom saw 67 Ghana cedis borrowing, 10% increment in base pay, numerous stakeholder consultations, and Jubilee House celebration of our independence. Now, still on the Doomsaw, Yao Febri goes on to say that the Doomsaw is now back, and why is the government taking us through all of these? Is the Doomsaw in the DNA of the NDC? This is very shameful. Now, lastly, Alhaji Rabiru says that Dr. Mohamed Enim is an asset that we must jealously protect because his understanding of our country's economy is very amazing and he has a deep thinking ability. Anziba.
All right, from Abdullah, he says the brainy Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam has really exposed the president and his finance minister with this spectacular presentation, an asset we must guard jealously. Sule says Dr. Amin Adam Anta has revealed the true state of the nation, Ghana. From General L. Coleman, he says Apostle Paul is always a master at his show, world-class journalism. And lastly, from Samuel Pregese, he says always on point. Over to you, Paul.
All right, end of show. The first show in the great month of March is Ghana Month, and we take it up on Independence Day on Thursday. Thanks for watching and good night.